Welcome to the Molybdenum Software Show.
Can I take the first one? I was poking
Sure.
at stuff.
I just want to show you the input branches.
Oh, sure.
It's not being tested yet, but here's like
Yeah.
one
So
command.
formatting.
Yeah. I started thinking about it in terms of these are possible conditions that can be explained in kind of a higher level terms, like a set of possible conditions, like includes. And then it'll be implemented somehow, it doesn't matter. But the concept of includes is like most of the cases it covers. So there's
Sorry,
going
are
to
you
be
showing me what you expect the humans to see? Or are you showing me more like
the humans to see.
Okay.
This is like generated from the source.
Yeah.
From the
So
author's perspective.
That seems like a weird thing to see in documentation, right? Like I've never seen docs that explain things that way. Oh, hey, you've got the newer version. I did not. I should have marked this as a draft, but a maintainer nonetheless merged that PR after you and I talked about the improvements I wanted to make on it. I didn't actually make the improvements, so you're going to find this annoying.
What's view?
I don't think it does a lot when you're viewing a directory. Oh, it does open the directory. Okay.
Right, you got it twice, and now it's gone. I pressed view twice.
Huh.
So what if I run it again? What's the difference between ignore and deny?
Ignore, you'll see it next time. Deny, next time it'll just not be allowed.
So here, it's like this is the command, this is the path, these are the args, and this is like the std_r includes. Are you familiar with tag, attr tag?
That's not a term I've heard.
It's a type in the Next Packages module system.
Okay.
So you could do like type checked std_r dot like is, or so, and is, the contents of is an arbitrary option. So this is a tag and this is another tag. So it's like an enum kind of a thing.
I think it would help me to see the option definition.
Something like attr tag here. Attr tag markdown or command. This is why.
Can you do this side by side with the file we were just looking at?
Yeah.
Thank you.
So contents is a list of attr tag markdown or command. So it's silly in the sense that there's an attribute set with a single attribute. They're all going to be attr sets with a single attribute in them.
I see, but it gives you some like documentation. Like it makes the code readable about what's going on here.
Yeah, and it gives you the type checking of the modules.
I think in TypeScript this might be called like a discriminated union or something. Like they're both attributes, but you can tell the difference between them.
Maybe. Maybe.
So this would prevent you from adding any other keys besides markdown or command.
Right.
And then furthermore, the values are enforced. Neat. No, yeah, I have not seen this. I'm not sure how. What's your mnemonic device for? Why? What's the tag part? How do you remember what this is?
What is?
Like, so the type is called adder tag. What about this is a tag? Like, how is your brain
the attribute.
internalizing this?
So this adder set is tagged, but it's more than a tag. Like the tag contains the value, the option, the internal option.
I don't see what it is about the code on the left that prevents you from setting both the markdown and command options. Is that prevented just by the nature of adder tag?
I think so.
Okay, so it's like an adder tag is an attribute set that has exactly one key.
Tag, yeah.
Okay. Huh. All right. Neat.
But what's not cool so far is the usage of it. Because imagine in Nix, you have to like select on these. How do you figure out which one it is?
Sure.
I'm hoping I'm just like didn't read the docs yet, and there's like actually there's like a mechanism.
Yeah, you need some sort of like switch statement or exhaustive pattern match, something.
Yes, like an adder set where I could
define the code paths for the various types or something.
Right. So a function provided by the module system for.
Yeah.
Maybe there is. If there isn't, I should probably contribute one because this kind of
wouldn't
sucks
be
doing
crazy
the
to
if else.
Right.
And that's my idea so far. So this is the includes. There could be an is, like exactly std error is. Yeah. So.
Okay. Yeah.
Everyone,
like I said, it seems like an interesting design space. I'm like still skeptical of this because it's not like what a human would be able to tell from running this command. Like they wouldn't be able to tell if the output is std error or std out.
So what?
So like what's the point of telling, like burdening the person reading this with that information?
Wouldn't you find it like borderlining between insightful and extraneous?
Right. Like, I guess I mean it's also like this example is not, you're not documenting Git, right? You're just like telling people how to use your tool. So it's like, I don't know, maybe it's just because, I haven't seen docs written like this before, but my brain would be like, whoa, why do I need to like pay attention to the git init command?
This is just a bad example. I could say exits with 0. I don't have to say anything, right? Like I don't need to in this library, I don't need to provide any success criteria for this. Maybe the exit code is by default the success criteria that it is 0. I think.
Yeah, I could see that as being something that like you don't want to burden the docs with, but you want the assertion for when you're, validating. But yeah, that makes sense. Well,
otherwise, this thing, like making it blurry whether some output is std error or std out, maybe that's an additional feature that it could say output includes. But I find it like missed opportunity to be explicit and to educate the reader. Here, this happens to be stood there. This happens to be stood out, and the fact that a terminal does not let you know the difference is unfortunate. We actually should pay attention to these things.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, maybe like just coloring or something would be a nice subtle way of doing it.
Well, there are the colorblind.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Colorblind isn't like truly everything's black and white, though, right? Like there might be.
There are variations. Yes.
Yeah. I don't know. I haven't done accessibility stuff like that. But cool. And is this stuff enforced, or are you just exploring the API right now?
Enforced. What?
Do you actually have checks that enforce that this validation is like that the std error actually, when you run this command, the std error includes this?
This is literally all I have implemented. I didn't implement any of the checks yet.
Got it.
Just
so you're
piece
exploring
of rendering.
The API design space right now.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah, makes sense. Cool. What is that vertical dashed line? Is that a markdown thing? I don't know.
No, this is custom CSS.
I see. On like code tags or pre-tags or something?
No, it's actually custom elements.
Oh.
This is like, it's inside of a div because it goes through Markdown. So putting it like if I just custom elements are considered inline elements by default. So I guess Markdown processors, they kind of, so if I don't do rapid command and output in a div, it wraps it for me in a P, depending on the white space above and below it. Because again, these are custom elements are inline by default. I suppose that's the logic behind that.
I see.
So there are elements that same as if I would use a span here or an A, it would just wrap it in a P. But if I place a div, it knows, oh, this is a block element. I'm therefore not even. But it actually does. It's actually annoying because this, like for example, a pure text node that goes inside here, and not all Markdown parsers do this, but this one does. It goes inside and like converts nested stuff into HTML.
Processes it as Markdown and converts it into HTML.
Yes. So to avoid that, I am generating HTML without line feeds.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know enough about the quirks of various Markdown processors, but I guess I can imagine.
I don't imagine
like
this
text by itself on a line can get processed, but if there are HTML tags, it doesn't.
I'm not sure how well that part of Markdown is defined.
Right.
I don't think I solved the entire problem because I think stuff inline still might get processed, but I haven't run across this problem yet.
Got it. Well, that's how things go.
Yeah, cool. I don't have to stick it in a MD book. I can just do something else, but so far it's been okay.
Neat. Well, next time I see you, I expect you to have reconfigured your terminal to format std error and std out differently. I'd be interested to know if people do that and how one would go about it. Okay. So I booted our server back up, and I went ahead and rebuilt it because it was in, the same state where it wouldn't boot. And then I ran the command we were running last night, but I added -- no reboot because I was thinking it might be interesting to sanity check the partitions and stuff right before it reboots. So I claim that right now, if we reboot this machine, it's not going to boot. So maybe we can just, like, with the power of all our combined Linux experience, see what's wrong with this thing. So yeah, anyways, lsblk -o. FAT32. Is that what VFAT? Is that what we'd expect to see?
Yeah.
FAT32 VFAT with some short UUID. Okay. And /mount/boot.
We need to understand the contract. What does Hetzner expect, and then to fulfill that contract.
How do you check if you've booted with UEFI or MBR?
Oh, there's no way that this is MBR. Come on.
You sure? By boot manager, is that a thing?
MBR is totally legacy.
Check if /sys/firmware/EFI exists. Okay. But I don't know if this is complicated because hopefully it's not. The fact that this has been kexec into.
No, should not change that.
Okay, well, I'm suspicious. Let me SSH to my Hetzner machine. Yeah, I'm not certain, but I'm gonna claim that it's not UEFI. Yeah, look at that.
Huh.
The evidence is mounting, right?
Yeah.
lsblk -f. I do have a VFAT. FAT32 partition though. Oh, but this is all grub. Okay. And that makes sense because I probably followed this guy, which has instructions to do this stuff here.
And there's nothing about EFI here.
EFI. Nope. Hetzner.
And what about...
What is it? UEFI? EFI? I don't know what the difference between those two things are. Dedicated server. This is robot. That's not what we're dealing with. We're dealing with the cloud VPSs. Hetzner Cloud.
There's a...
5 years ago. Sorry, did you say something?
Just fine. What? I mean, I saw something, but keep looking.
5 years ago, we are using BIOS as our default right now because every OS supports it without any problems. Some of our customers requested that we add UEFI, but it's not likely to become the default for quite some time. To be fair, 5 years is quite some time, but
does their GUI give an EFI option?
Good question.
This is dedicated. This is Windows.
Dedicated,
EFI.
dedicated, 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 dedicated. It's all about dedicated servers. Not a lot of pages of results here. Oh, I love it when spas do that. You know, you navigate to the next page, but it doesn't take you
And
to the
you're at the
top.
bottom.
Yeah. And by love it, I mean I find that very amusing. Okay. Click around in the UI and see if we find something.
Sure, but at this point, I'm skeptical about finding something because it would
Seems
be
like that information
also
from
it would
5
be
years ago.
something at creation. It's like too late, right? Like you can't say,
Yeah,
oh,
but
because it's a
we
different
could
kind of
recreate.
machine. Of course.
Oh yeah, maybe when I see. You're saying don't go here, go to like here.
Mm-hmm. But we would have seen it, right? We didn't just zip through this.
Oh, and it wasn't like a ton of shit to look at.
Oh, well, also it might depend. Like I would bet the ARM ones are UEFI, but I might lose that bet.
You want to find out?
How do we find out?
Boot one.
Uh,
I mean, we could delete the
it
server,
doesn't.
so we're not like double spending.
I don't. It's not important to find out. Like you don't.
Yeah.
We're not going to use it, even if it is. I find it strange, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're supporting a lot of OSs. Maybe does Ubuntu 20.04 support UEFI boot? I don't know.
These are image. You know, their images would all need to like have variants because the image itself needs to include a bootloader, and it's not. It's not only a bootloader. The whole partition, the disk label. What's it called? I don't even. It's called the partitioning scheme. There's the GPT scheme.
Yep.
And the
BR.
MBR scheme.
Yeah.
So let's just format MBR. I'm so like, how can I do something in 2025 on cloud infrastructure that I haven't done on consumer infrastructure since, I don't know, 2015?
Don't ask me. Things move
Fine.
slowly. All right. So this partition probably, right? Isn't there some clever thing where these partitions double as both MBR and EFI, ESP, is that what they're called? EFI system partitions?
GPT can be backwards compatible.
Okay, that's what I have here on my server, right? Like I've got this probably useless EFI system partition. This is the ESP. There's the BIOS boot.
It's not useless. What's it mounted as?
Oh, okay. My alarm just went off, which was to remind me about something. Okay. Sorry, say that again?
What's it mounted as?
Not
It's
mounted.
mounted as boot.
Yeah. Well,
So
the
it's not
ESP
useless.
is. Well, okay. So how do you think this machine's booting? Because it's not booting EFI. So is it like this hands? This is what's causing the machine to boot.
Yeah.
And does that
Well,
hand off to the ESP?
yeah, the motherboard boots an executable. Actually, MBR, the first executable that that the firmware executes is not even in a partition. It's in the beginning of the device. It's the beginning of the boot device, like the storage device.
Okay, so the storage
before
device is effectively a sequence
partitions.
of bytes, right? And
Yes,
there's two different partitioning schemes that have like a header at the beginning. But you're saying
yes,
there's also just some reserved
yes.
space that's compatible with both MBR and GPT. That is a place to put something.
Yeah, the first executable, whatever the bootloader, it can be the entire bootloader. It can be part of in case of any most modern Linux like grub and systemd boot. I don't even know if systemd boot supports BIOS boot. I don't even know that. But in case of grub, it is part of grub. I think it's called stage 0.
Okay.
So the stage 0 executable lives in that reserved.
And is that why the start here is not 0?
It's before that start is the partition table and that reserved executable.
Which also has some room. Okay. And the partition table, there are two different schemes for that, right? GPT and MBR. Apparently this is GPT. Okay. So my Hetzner server is partitioned with GPT. Okay, so this is explaining some stuff I didn't understand. I thought that if you were going to do a non-UEFI boot, aka, I don't even know what it's called. Is that called BIOS boot?
BIOS, yeah.
Okay, so I thought if you were doing a BIOS boot, you had to have your bootable device partitioned using MBR. But that's clearly not the case.
But it is, because GPT is a superset.
I see. Okay. So as far as the server is concerned, this is MBR.
Yeah.
And somewhere it doesn't realize it's GPT, so GPT must have a scheme, a layout that puts that thing at the exact same byte offset or whatever.
Yes, I suppose.
Okay. And that's what you call stage 0, or that's what Grub calls stage 0?
Right, Grub calls it stage 0.
Okay. But like systemd boot doesn't support it, or maybe doesn't support it.
I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. So we could look into how to do it with systemd boot, or we could try to use Grub.
Well, do you want to know like what happens after stage 0?
At some point, this EFI system partition, the CSP, gets mounted, and then there's like a EFI executable in there, and I don't know the scheme for picking one.
But that EFI executable is not used when GPT when doing BIOS boot.
Oh, right. Okay, yeah. So no, I don't know anything about BIOS boot.
The stage 1 of Grub should be there in
here?
Yes, in there.
Okay.
See, it's 1 megabyte, so that's stage 1 of Grub, I suppose. And that has enough implementation to mount some file system. It can be, in this case, it's VFAT, but it can also mount ext4.
Okay.
It cannot do fancy things like mount encrypted stuff.
I see. So if I really wanted to, I could have my EFI system partition formatted with ext4 on this machine, because Grub would know how to mount it.
You could have it the same partition as the root. It does not need to be different.
As what?
As root. You don't need a separate
as
partition.
root. I see. Got it.
And then and then the stage 1 executable bootloader executes the stage 2, I suppose, from which is the majority of the grub code. And at that point, it can execute Linux kernels.
Got it. Yeah. And Linux lives here. Linux knows enough to mount this.
Yes.
And then system D is over here. And that becomes our init system.
Mm-hmm. Well, but the system D init lives in the initRD.
Right.
So
I
that's
guess
in
there are
the
two copies of
SDA2.
system D. Right. There's the one that's copied into the Linux executable. And then there's the other one that lives in like the next store over here.
I'm not sure why you say two copies. These are two parts of it. System D init executable lives in the initRD.
I see. Got it.
I'm not sure what happens from there.
Mm-hmm.
The majority of system D probably is not there, right? Like it has daemons, right? Or one big daemon, system D itself. That's probably not in the initRD.
Right.
Yeah, and EFI is a different. EFI boot is a different story. That's why also why in BIOS boot you can only select a device, which device to boot, and not which partition to boot.
Okay.
Well, in EFI you can select not only which partition. You actually the firmware reads a file system, and then you can select a file to boot from the file system.
Mm-hmm.
But BIOS is just which device because of that boot sector.
I see.
And that's what it's called. I remember now. It's just called boot sector.
The boot sector is that part hidden somewhere in the first 2048 blocks or sectors. Whatever they are.
Yes.
Sectors. Okay. Sweet. Well, that's educational. So, shall we look into if we can make this work with systemd boot, or shall we look into grub?
Systemd boot is less. I don't think grub is any help to us in this. I like less. It's a UEFI. The AI overview says it's a UEFI.
Yeah.
And it makes sense. Why would
this
they?
Might not be an option then.
All right.
Like
I have
Clover
been using
bootloader emulation. Sorry, go ahead.
I've been using grub since to do BIOS boot since for more than 20 years, right?
Yep. Okay, so now the question is, we're going to be fighting with CLAN's defaults. So,
in what way is CLAN opinionated about this?
I think it's opinionated about this. Maybe I'm wrong. Do you think? Okay, well, let me not be too pessimistic. So let's try just following the instructions here, which is these 3 lines of code, right? Oh gosh, I had some unpushed changes. Sorry about that. Here we go. Can touch. For lack of a better place, I'll put it here right now. Avahi, dmod, srmod. So the difference is they have ext4 in the Nixos wiki. Do we think we need that though?
We won't be using it. We don't have that. But in our case, see, does grub support ZFS?
I have no idea.
Can you find out? Because if grub supports ZFS, then we don't need a separate boot partition. There's no point.
Mm-hmm. You must only enable features supported by grub.
It seems like ZFS supports grub. By default, zpool create enables all features on if boot. Well, it seems like ZFS supports boot. Grub supports ZFS to the extent that you're willing to create a grub compatible zpool separate from your
I don't see the
general
value in this. I would say
boot
we should
resides
just.
in ZFS when using grub. You must only enable features supported by grub, otherwise grub will not be able to read the pool. ZFS good compatibility files to assist in creating pools. Ooh. There's no point, but we can do something. Why is EFI like VFAT, right? Like, why was that? Couldn't that have been at least something reasonable like X4?
Probably didn't exist at the time.
Well, yeah, X3 probably did exist.
Yeah.
So we can create. We can do X4 because grub can boot from X4.
Yeah. Okay. So we need a disco. We need to rework this partitioning scheme. So you're saying this ESP, we can change it to Ext4 because grub's gonna discover this and mount it.
Yeah. I think there's like a caveat where grub supports X4, but it mounts it without journaling or something, so it might as well be X3 or some hand wavy explanation.
But it's not gonna write to it, right?
Or maybe journaling is the difference between X2 and X3. It's just been a long time ago.
But does grub even write to it?
Yeah, I think it can write.
Okay.
But
what would it write?
It remembers if there's a feature where it can remember what you booted last and like boot that again, or if something fails to boot, it can remember not boot that. Grub has features.
Okay.
Keep state.
Yeah, but this is the place where it would put its state? That's surprising to me. Seems to me like the place it would put its state would be where grub itself is installed like that.
Which stage of grub? Like 3 stages.
Yeah.
The boot sector, the stage 1 in the boot stage 1 in the.
All right. So we're making that change. And then type.
Type.
Where are you looking? This thing here?
Yeah.
What would that be?
Whatever x4 is.
Okay. How do you find out?
You can use fdisk. Um,
Nope. How would you do this? Like create a new
in,
partition with fdisk and
interactively. Yeah, you can open fdisk.
put on this server.
You don't
Disk.
actually need to create one. You can just. I think there's a command. I can press M for help, and maybe there's one to print all.
List known
This.
partition types.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the UEFI one. Next.
I think it's Linux. It's the
83.
Probably.
Okay.
I'm not sure what Linux extended is.
So you're saying Linux means ext4?
I think it's the right type for x2, x3, x4.
Okay. And then this is 4 characters, which is distressing to me because this is only 2.
0, 0. Oh.
Yeah. What's that all about?
I think it's because it's GPT, and in GPT you can have 2 more bytes for the type.
Okay. So we're gonna just do 83.
That makes sense to me.
Okie dokie. All right. And then
We don't call
this
it ESP.
Don't call it ESP. Where is it even? Oh, okay. What, boot?
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, sorry. We need boot. Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
So,
And then what? This is the device where what? 2 things are going to happen. Grub's gonna somehow end up. The appropriate stages of grub are gonna end up here, and then stage 0 is gonna end up in those initial 2K sectors of this device.
Here's why this is necessary, because stage 0, the stage 0 that will be installed to the boot sector,
yeah,
needs to have this hard coded to know where stage 1 is.
Oh, okay. So this is configuring grub. This is not just saying where to install it. This is saying, hey, grub, stage 0. This is what you're going to look for.
I'm sorry. That's not it. Sorry. SDA. This is where to install, which device to install the stage.
Okay.
Grub into the boot sector.
Right. Okay. So this is saying where to install grub, which is like a 2-part thing. It's like put stages 2 and 3 or something. I don't know. Here on the boot partition, and then stage 0.
This is only the first part of what you said. This is only install
only stage
grub
0. Stage
0 on dev SDA.
Okay.
And the rest of grub, the stage 1 and probably stage 2. I think stage 1 and 2, like, typically I don't even know. I don't even know what stage 2. I don't think I ever had if I'm correct about stage 1, the difference between stage 1 and 2, I don't think that I ever had stage 1 and 2 in different places.
Okay. That's like an
But
implementation detail then that we don't care about. But the stage 0 versus stage 1 is like that's a leaky abstraction detail that we need to kind of know about because it affects how we like partition the device or affects how we configure all this to get it set up correctly.
Yeah, you're asking how does Grub know where stage 1? How does stage 0 know how to find stage 1?
Well, I could imagine
I
that
think
that's
that
just a scan
happens.
or something. Like, is that just pure convention?
Yeah, I think it can be typically a scan, and I think it's probably line 26 that that partition is not just this, but it's something like Linux boot.
I see. Okay, that affects the scanning.
But
I don't see it.
But in that case, we don't need a separate boot partition. We can everything can be ext4. We don't need a boot partition.
Well, but we're planning to use ZFS on our root partition. We don't have to.
The benefits of ZFS, I think, are when it's on real hardware. For this application, I don't think we would benefit from ZFS. We are kind of I don't think you think we will make snapshots, for example?
I don't think it's going to be worth doing backups or anything like that. So no, I don't think we will.
I think the greatest benefit would be simplicity here, and to make everything. We would have one partition. It's ext4, and that's it.
So type is boom, size is 100%, content type is file system, format equals ext4, out point equals slash. So something like that.
Yeah, but what I don't remember is how does stage 0 know where stage 1 is?
Because you were hoping to find a magic type, and we haven't found one yet.
Yeah, but when it's the same as root, you don't do that, right? Like you don't say my root partition is my boot. It's a flag. I remember now. It's a flag. It's not the type of the partition. The partition table supports some limited number of flags.
Okay.
For partitions. So in addition to it being like Linux, there are flags. So you're right, Disco should support those.
Okay. Legacy. I assume this is talking about the stuff we care about.
I don't know what
Ooh,
white case
bootable
is.
equals true. How about that?
Yeah,
maybe
that's the flag. Must be.
And then here's an interesting example of there's an ESP partition that's marked bootable and a root partition marked bootable.
Yeah.
Not sure why you'd have both.
It's like many computers, many PCs can be like told what mode to boot into. And maybe I don't know, maybe you have a set of like machines that some of them boot in BIOS mode, and you like want to support.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. So we'll ignore that. We're gonna try to have just a single partition here. So okay, I'm just comparing, and we guessed this type equals here. Here they don't even have one. Maybe that is, maybe Disco can deduce that from the other knobs that are set?
Maybe because of the format, yeah.
Let's try it. Let's check in the REPL, see what we see.
Well,
Should be next class configurations.molly.config.disco devices disk main content partitions. Oh boy, did I really get all that right? Oh,
why don't
bootable
you use
does not
tab
exist.
completion?
I should have done that. I get afraid to press tab because sometimes it takes a long time to evaluate, depending on how far I am. Okay, root.bootable. So did I get confused about the scoping here? Let me get a little more space here. Partitions equals. Oh, so it's the partition that's marked bootable. No, wait. Okay, this is weird. Partitions here is a list. Here, partitions is a adder set.
Two things can be marked bootable. The device, I think. Am I right about that? But certainly a partition.
I'm just confused because here in both these examples we've opened up, partitions is an array. Which kind of makes sense to me because you want to know. It makes sense to me that the order is important. Yet we somehow ended up with partitions equal to an adder set.
Well,
We probably copied some ZFS example, right?
Yes.
There it is, partitions. Disk equals. Okay, so I'm confused.
I wonder why Disco would support both.
Yeah. So, okay, I'm gonna switch to an array. And I'm gonna say name equals root. There's our array getting closed off right there. Copy to clipboard. Okay. Definition for option. Main.content.partitions is not of type attribute set of submodule. Not like this. Name. We don't have a start nor an end. We just have a size. We don't have a part type. We do have a content with type, format, and mount point. We haven't declared the type equals table. Is that potentially relevant? Not following this. Shall I just copy this example and delete this? See what happens? Look, effectively what I'm trying to do.
Line 22. Type GPT is not correct.
Okay. Type equals table, format equals GPT.
Well, we can still use GPT, right? Because it supports.
But this is where we got that code from. Content type equals GPT.
And in the
here it's type equals table.
That's it. And I don't think we should do that. I think we should. But type table format GPT. Do you think one of these is deprecated? Because I remember that there was So change in this scope. Legacy. Legacy
Maybe that's not about
is
the
not
boot.
what we want.
Okay. That's
Yeah.
probably about legacy disco stuff.
Legacy disco, exactly.
Okay, great. All right, let me undo. I just, yeah. Undo. Okay. So here's where we started making changes. Okay. So this should, yeah, we're good now. Probably good. And now what we want to find is, okay, there's hybrid
BIOS.
MBR, GPT BIOS compat.
Yeah, GPT BIOS compat, that sounds right.
Okay. All right. So we do have a boot partition. 1 megabyte for grub MBR. But you weren't expecting to need to do this, right?
No, I do remember. But I think, you know what I think?
Because this sure looks like what we want.
Can you like, what is EF2? Because I think MBR is simply an erroneous term there. The MBR is part of the table, isn't it?
EF2
BIOS boot
is BIOS
partition.
boot partition. EF00 is EFI system. BIOS boot partition.
Mm-hmm. BIOS boot partition. Yeah, I think that's stage 1. But why do I remember that it's not a... Can you like ask an LLM, please, what's the typical BIOS boot partition layout?
Okay. What exactly would you ask here?
What's a typical, or what's a minimal BIOS boot grub partition layout?
Okay. Boot root swap option. Okay. So there's that bootable flag that we were just talking about.
That's MBR.
And here we have no boot partition, which is the path we were trying to go down. Next4 has the bootable flag.
This is only with MBR is this possible.
Okay, so is this the one we want to try to get working?
No, I would still go with GPT. But with GPT, it seems like the way that GPT works, the master boot record lives in a partition, which is optional, and but it has to be the first partition. That's what it seems like.
You're talking about this one, right?
Do you understand what I'm like saying here? Like the difference, like how the way in which GPT supports BIOS boot is that you have to have the first partition needs to be this BIOS boot partition, because that's where the MBR is expected by BIOS boot. Does that make sense to you?
No.
No?
So
because you can see that in MBR, you don't need to create a partition for the master boot record. It's built into the table. Does that make sense?
I don't know what a partition for the master boot record is. Is that
That
this
what
thing
it,
I've got
yes.
selected?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Whereas with MBR, you don't need it because you've got this concept of a bootable flag.
It's built into the layout. In MBR, that those sectors are built into the partitioning layout. You can't. The first partition cannot be that early.
That early. As early as what?
As like 1-2 megabytes. The master boot record, the first few sectors are reserved for the partition table itself, and then to that payload, the master boot record.
Okay.
And with GPT, if you want to support BIOS booting,
I see.
The way you do it is that your first partition, it has to be the first partition. It has to be.
Okay.
It's about its
All right.
position, right?
So our hypothesis is that the Hetzner machine could probably boot in one of two ways, based on if the server. I mean, there's a million ways we could have it boot, but the Hetzner server we know supports a GPT scheme.
Oh, it doesn't care. It doesn't read that. It just the way the master boot record BIOS booting does not know partitions. It knows there is a sector on some device in which I will execute.
Okay.
That's all it knows.
And this happens to be located in the right place for that?
It's right. It's designed like this is how you support that booting with GPT. But whereas with MBR, it's built into the layout.
Okay. All right. I see. So with GPT, basically, you get to use a little bit more of your disk because you don't have to
Exactly.
You can carve off this. You can use this space for something other than a BIOS boot partition.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I see. All right. And we would be able to see that with FDisk if we looked at the sector start numbers with I guess effectively what I'm hearing you say is we expect the sector start partition here to be the sector start partition for this might be the same as this one.
Right.
Okay. I think I'm following. Okay. So we're gonna do a GPT layout with BIOS boot. So we're gonna have a dedicated BIOS boot partition, which is why we're just going to copy this example. No. This example.
Yeah.
Okay.
And notice that partition does not have a file system.
Right.
Does not, in fact, does not have any content. It's like just for reserving MBR. And that comment is correct. That's why it says MBR, because it's like where the master boot record is in BIOS booting.
Got it. Okay. Makes sense. There we go.
You can remove the comment.
All right. And then is Disco able to set any of this for us? Or do we just have to
check it, comment that out, and evaluate?
I mean, have we done anything
Well,
here to say that we
grub,
want grub?
I think grub
Oh, enable
enabled.
grub. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I see what you're saying. That makes more sense. Okay. Great. Config.boot.loader.grub.device. No love. No,
What
it's
did
not
you?
necessary.
Mm.
So why is it not necessary?
Let's see. Is it now? Will it now? Oh, this is EFI though.
Yeah. Commenting out. Do we have this? Or would we have gotten an assertion? Oh yeah, okay. So we've got system deboot enabled. And we've got grub enabled. I would have expected that to be an assertion failure. Does that make any sense?
It's interesting, right?
That's probably coming from clan, right? Clan core rg system d.
I don't know.
Boot
Never
enable.
used it.
No.
No.
Okay, so that's just the default or something on NixOS.
It is. Like grub is not the default.
Mm.
System deboot is the default.
No.
No. I think the default might be more
nuanced than that, like an expression.
Yeah. So why would it say false?
Nope.
So grub is default?
Okay, what is this?
We have system deboot?
Yes, we do.
Right.
Okay.
That's when we thought it's we have an EFI machine, a UEFI machine. Okay. Now the device. Still nothing.
Still no.
Okay. Set the device then.
I'm just a little curious. If I search for device equal, device.
Mm-hmm.
Grub
Yeah, but
dot
it's
device.
yeah. One of these might be grub device. Okay. Okay. Grub devices.
Grub.
I don't know what trickery you're doing there.
I was
With
so what I was
nested
doing.
grepping.
I was doing looking
Before.
for device equal 100 lines before.
Yeah.
I was opening up in VI and searching for grub.
Oh, okay, and that's pretty simple.
No love. Okay, so not sure what that comment we read is about. It's not
that
necessary.
Comment applies with EFI.
Yeah, but I didn't find a line of code in the entire project.
Oh.
That sets device equal to anything.
Yeah, but they also do git commits for you by default, so I don't know what to expect.
Well, this is not clan. This is, I mean, it's made by the same folks, but anyways, whatever. We'll set it. So yeah, I mean, we can dry it up. Yeah, but let's just do a install. See what we end up with. And I've been driving for a while. Do you want to rotate or stick with this?
If you're happy, I'm happy.
I'm fine. Just don't want to Bogart the keyboard.
I have plenty of keyboard time later. By the way, these caffeine tablets are great.
Caffeine tablets. I don't think you've talked about these before.
Made in the USA. I I just decided that caffeine is a good thing, and it does not like impair my ability to sleep well at night, as long as I take it early enough. Because for the longest time, for years, I've been avoiding. Didn't want to get addicted, dependent on coffee, but then recently I decided it's a good thing. So this is practical. It's stupid cheap. It's like nowhere near the price of coffee. However you get your coffee. And so it's a win. It's a big win.
Sweet.
You cannot have duplicated devices in mirrored boots. Why do we have mirrored boots? What mirrored boots?
I don't know
How
what
is that?
mirrored boots is.
I know what I use mirrored boots. I love mirrored boots. It's available only on Grub, and it's pretty awesome because you know mirroring of storage, for example, in any kind of mirroring of storage is really nice because you don't get you don't lose your data.
Sure.
But you do you do lose your ability to boot if your boot device was one of two, right?
You lose the ability to boot if your boot device was one of two.
Yeah. So let's talk about like MBR. In MBR or BIOS boot. BIOS boot you can do every time you can just do grub install once on one device and once on another device. I don't know if you can script that in NixOS. I never did that because NixOS I was always using EFI. And then if you lose one device, I think you should be able to, boot from the other device. And it's degraded, but it boots. But in EFI, in NixOS,
Pardon me.
if you don't use mirrored boots, if you just where do you boot? What is your boot? What is your EFI system partition? If you have only one EFI system partition on one of the devices, and that device is malfunctioning, well, you don't boot at all.
Okay, makes
And
sense. Yeah, if there's only one.
And creating an EFI system partition is not it's not a mutative, like, okay, just run it once, right? Because it's also where your kernels and initrd images are. So it's like it's a thing you have to maintain using NixOS, and that's how Grub that's how you can do it with Grub with mirrored boots. You say, I want these two devices.
So somehow setting this ended up with. Is this something that Disco's doing?
I do not know what's going on. Like, we should not have mirrored boots at all.
Okay, let's check clan. Nope.
Mirrored
so it'd be
boots.
fun to see where this got set.
Or maybe mirrored boots like of one is like the backend
default
for
value.
not having mirrored boots, right? That would make sense to me because
What I'm confused about though is this if the default's coming from somewhere.
I see.
Disco's not setting it.
No, I see. Disco must be setting. Disco is adding one, and we are adding one, and we end up with two.
Well, it's still confusing because this is not set. So the mechanism that Disco is using for setting 1 is
it
non-obvious.
might suffice.
But it's like not doing it via mirrored boots.
Why not?
Well, because I searched Disco for mirrored boots, and the only place it shows up is
documentation. Tests.
And then I searched Disco earlier for the grub.device equals, and plus we see that it's not.
Well, but you see that it ends up there, right?
Yeah.
So
anyways, this might do what we want. I agree. So
yeah,
it's just like doing it via some mechanism we don't know about. But I don't need to become an expert on NixOS's legacy boot infrastructure. I'm happy if we get this working. We can just move on.
Likewise. I feel like I learned important stuff today. Like that part I didn't know, that the way that that GPT supports BIOS booting is that you got to have that first partition. It's not reserved.
Right.
That's interesting.
Yeah. I didn't know about any of that stuff. I didn't know about this like magic offset that you boot to when in BIOS boot. But I guess that makes sense. That's like the simplest way of building something is let's just all agree that we'll jump to this particular offset.
Yeah, I wonder what year that's from. Maybe it's from like the IBM PC.
This is nice. We don't have to keep k-execing because we're already in NixOS. Okay, we're getting partitions. fdisk-il. We have a BIOS boot. We have a Linux file system. Doesn't say what the partitioning scheme is, but it's an X4 partition. And now it's copying a bunch of stuff in there, presumably. Let's slash them out. Yep.
You know, now that that I'm so convinced that I'm getting more convinced that I don't need to boot an actual Windows OS anymore for gaming. This was like the last reason I wanted to do that.
Yep.
That was the reason I didn't use Disco on this PC.
Oh, because Disco doesn't have a mechanism for leaving some shit alone.
I don't know that it doesn't, but I told myself, even if it does, I don't want to deal with that.
Yeah.
Now I feel like I might be but
yeah,
maybe it was always pretty simple. I don't know.
All right. Does this feel like BIOS boot compatible scheme that we've got here?
Is the bootable flag set on that? So who says that? Who says that grub is installed? That stage 0 is installed in that partition. In that BIOS boot partition.
Don't know how to check. It's a good question.
Did it say in the one of the last few things that it should say in the logs down there is installing grub on something something?
Yeah, that could be that.
Can you see the last part of that line?
And how? It's just
Okay. So yeah. So you see that operation is an interesting operation to me because it's installing grub on the disk as a block device, as a complete block device, the entire disk. Not on the partition.
Right. But that's
but it
consistent
ends
with
up on the partition. Does that
Right.
make sense to you?
Yeah. We're saying it ended up here.
Yep.
Yeah, but
Like,
it doesn't say slash partition 1 because
mhm.
maybe the installation does the exact same thing regardless of the if it's GPT or MBR, it just goes
Exactly.
in the same place.
Right. If it
And the only
wrote it one sector earlier, then it might have overridden the partition table itself.
Yeah. This is like very possibly just a just a convention that people using fdisk use to make it clear where their partitions start when using a GPT scheme. Like, it's possible that the type doesn't matter at all, right? It maybe
Its
doesn't
existence
even
does
need
not
to
matter.
exist.
Yeah,
Like, we could have just created a single partition offset
you're right.
to the
I think you're
appropriate
right.
place.
Mhm.
But this is nice because I didn't have to say some weird offset here. I just did this, and then I said 100%. So, okay. Shall we reboot? See what happens?
But what about the flag?
Yeah. It doesn't seem to have such a flag.
The flag. I think there's a flag on the flag. No, I think the flag is for when do you have a separate boot partition? What are flags for? I don't remember. Are flags for actually for
Aren't
the
flags only
disk?
for MBR, not GPT?
MBR.
Like, I don't know that GPT has a concept of bootable flags. Certainly, the LLM
It does.
seems to imply that it's an MBR specific concept.
Boot. Yeah.
Primarily.
Bootable flags, active flags. Only one partition can be marked bootable.
I'm not knowledgeable enough about this to filter out hallucinations, so I'll trust you on
So
this.
far, yeah. BIOS looks for this flag to determine which partition to boot from. Yeah, but BIOS does not. Essential for BIOS booting with MBR. GPT, no traditional bootable flags like MBR. Instead, use a partition type GUIDs to indicate purpose. UEFI firmware looks for the not a flag.
GUID. The ESP has GUID lock? Really? This is my ESP, right? Is this for real? Okay. How do you view the...
Probably use fdisk to see that.
fdisk with some flags I don't know about, maybe?
In interactive mode.
That looks the same.
There's extra functionality with X. Then you can do M for help.
Ooh, okay. All right, so those types are full-on UUIDs. Okay. That was a lot more than 4 bytes.
What the LLM said there is that MBR has bootable flags. Only one partition can be marked bootable at a time, and the BIOS looks for this flag to determine which partition to boot from. It's probably true, but it's not. It doesn't explain.
That's not consistent with the mental model you and I were just talking about, which is just jump to the appropriate sector.
Yes. Is the appropriate sector? Yeah, I don't. Is that an additional feature when? Ask it what happens when no egg partition is marked bootable in MBR.
When doing on an MBR? Okay, yeah. Oh, yeah, this is not consistent with the specific offset that we were guessing.
Loads that partition's boot sector. First 512 bytes.
Mhm.
Look here for boot code.
I don't know. I mean, it's yeah. I don't know.
It's not consistent with not having a boot partition.
Right.
Ask it whether a boot partition is necessary in can the what is that? Absolute minimum for MBR, you can actually get away with just that. How do you get away with that? No separate boot partition. Not no bootable flag.
Oh, it does have the bootable flag. Okay.
Sure, but how does your code end up there not overriding your file system? You can't both have a file system. The gap after MBR still needs to be boot directory exists inside the root file system instead of grub still installs its stage 1 bootloader to the MBR. Grub stage. Does that mean that all MBR partitions have this like
A
reserved
little extra
space?
space at the front, maybe.
But
that would fit with what we're reading here, or maybe specifically the bootable ones do.
no, it's just a flag. You can set the flag after the fact.
Okay.
Can you ask it what that question? Do all primary MBR partition, because there are primary and extended. So ask about primary. As what I remember is that you can MBR can have up to 4 primary. I remember that nonsense. If you wanted more than four partitions, some of them need to be extended. Or that's the disk layout. Partition table plus grub stage 1. It doesn't say stage 0. Sectors 1 to 63. Gap between MBR and first partition. MBR sector 0 contains partition table 54 bytes plus grub stage 1 boot code. Your X4 partition starts at a later sector. This is still inconsistent with any partition can be bootable.
Right.
It reveals a subtle but important distinction in the boot. The bootable flag isn't for grub, it's for the BIOS. Here's what actually happens. Step 1, BIOS finds what to boot. BIOS reads MBR and sees grub stage 1 code. But BIOS still checks the partition table for a bootable flag. If no bootable flag exists, many BIOS implementations will refuse to execute the MBR code at all. This is a safety check. Is this disk intended to be bootable? Step 2, grub takes over. Once BIOS executes the MBR code, grub stage 1 runs. Grub doesn't care about the bootable flags, it has its own logic. Grub stage 1 loads stage 1.5, 2 based on where grub was configured to load. Other than boots whatever in its config file. The bootable flag is a BIOS requirement, not a grub requirement. In practice, some modern is not relevant here. The bootable flag is essentially saying, yes, this disk is meant to boot something.
It's confusing
Why
because
this
it's not a
design?
flag on the disk, it's a flag on partitions on the disk.
Right. Why this design? Prevents accidental boot attempts from data disks, provides a clear signal that this disk contains boot code. Historical compatibility with older bootloaders that did care about the flag. I think that's the key here. This is not... So you're right that grub itself doesn't need the bootable flag, but the BIOS often requires... This flag is on partitions. Misspoke. The bootable flag is on partitions, not the disk. Let me correct.
Bootable flag becomes somewhat ceremonial. Oh man, these things' grasp of English is amazing. The grasp of what's actually going on, this is like, I don't have enough knowledge to know how much bullshit we're wading through right now. But this, like, at least seems consistent, right? Is like the bootable flag effectively doesn't matter, except maybe the BIOS will refuse to even execute the MBR if they can't find a partition with a bootable flag, but maybe that's all just old irrelevant stuff.
That's the best I understand this as well. I think my best guess is that this bootable flag is on a partition and not the disk for some historical reason that is not relevant for the grub bootloader.
Yeah. I mean, the story you've told me, and that we're like guessing, and that we're like coercing this LLM into telling us, are all consistent with the mental model I have now. So, shall we reboot and see what happens?
Reboot. There's no sudo. Reboot.
Alrighty. Ping that boy. No new servers here. Go, Molly, go. Hey, it's responding to pings already. Way to go. Hey, there's an SSHD on the other side. 112. Dope.
I'll be right back.
All right. And we remembered to give me SSH, so I'm in cat/etsy lsb release. Oh, it's so beautiful. So beautiful. We're living in the future. November 2025. Dope. Systemctl. Let's see what we got running. Do we have anything failing? Nope. PR tracker. Systemctl status. PR tracker. ABI. Cool. Wow, the internet is a dangerous place. Jeez. Wow. How frequently are we getting this bullshit? And then how's Nginx doing? Thanks. Or we're using Caddy, aren't we? Yep. Cool. Did it get itself a cert? I go to like nest lookup next packages dot molybdenum.software. Yeah. Curl HTTP -I. Okay, Caddy is telling us to go there, and boom, we got a cert. Ah, lovely. And it redirects to the API docs. Fuck yeah! We're done. Call it a night, Shahar. You're not here. I'm just talking to myself. Very, very satisfying.
All right.
Cool. So
I think the reason I didn't use Disco is this. I wanted to say whatever device you find on the machine, that's what you format. That's the device I'm referring to. I wanted that, not specifying because what if I change the storage device? The contract is simple. There is a storage device. It's two storage devices because I do mirroring.
Mhm.
And I wanted to share this configuration with all PCs, so I don't specify the identifier.
Mhm.
But then this PC has 3 because it has one storage device for Windows OS. And so I didn't know how to tell Disco, hey, which 2 storage device? Because at that point it's like it has to know.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
that's why
I don't
I
blame
didn't use
Disco for not inventing a convention or heuristic there. It seems like.
What is the heuristic? There are 3 storage devices. Which ones do you want?
So I think just asking the human to specify it seems fine to me.
It's reasonable. I'm just saying it's what if I didn't find it as acceptable. So maybe if I remove that extra one for Windows, but it's in the computer, it's not causing harm. So I don't know what to do. I don't need to do anything. My computer boots.
Yep.
So
yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's useful if you're like buying new machines and adding them to your home lab and like just want to get the damn things partitioned and ready to rock. So you missed it, but it totally fucking worked. Like
good.
We have Caddy serving things up. What's really amusing, I'm gonna rotate over to you. I've been going for long enough, but check out the logs. The internet is a dangerous
Mixed
place,
packages dot internet. It's totally harmless.
Molybdenum.software.
Molybdenum dot software. All right, we're live.
Yeah. So now SSH to the server and take a look at the
Can I
the logs of our Rust service.
Molybdenum software.
You'll probably need root at because we only have a root user.
Mm.
And then I'm not sure if I don't know what your deal is with SSH keys. You might need to be explicit, or is it going to find it?
I want to continue, but not saving it. But that's not what's going to happen. Okay, yeah, it seems like I need
So
to.
You got to tell it to use the key.
Was it like
-I
big I?
and then path to key. think it's a lowercase I. Yeah, partner. Nice.
And what
Yeah.
did you suggest? System
journalctl
journal.
-u PR tracker API. Look at all this traffic we're getting, man.
The heck? Wait,
Yeah.
what?
Take a look at the request. It's like auth.json. They're looking for like a Git repo. Oh, the internet, huh?
Pipelines.yaml.
Login, reason equals 0, user sign in.
Hardhat
It's like
config.js.
probably a list of every WordPress vulnerability there's ever been. Pretty funny, huh?
Hmm.
Botnets, man.
This is doing something to my consciousness.
What is it doing to your
This
consciousness?
is like, because I had stuff exposed publicly before, but I never really looked. I don't remember seeing this. Because the IP was not like a known Hetzner IP. Maybe this is like making us a bigger target than if I was to expose my home.
Maybe.
Right?
Maybe. But yeah, there's also not that many IPv4 addresses, so who knows?
Okay. And the fetcher?
Yeah, well, it's configured to run what, hourly? So is it running?
Completion. I don't know what's going on here. I don't know. Like, it's nothing?
Run maybe just systemctl, no args, grep for fetcher.
There is no fetcher. Did we not enable it?
I don't know. Thought we did.
We didn't enable the fetcher. We did not enable the fetcher. Systemctl. Timer. Journal CTL. So it didn't run yet because it didn't like hit the time.
Maybe.
The hour. Oh, it's about to. It's about to.
Well, I think it defaults to having some jitter, so I'm not sure that it runs exactly on the hour.
Really?
I might be wrong about that.
I bet I'm going to do follow here. And we're going to, in a few seconds. Defaults to jitter, you say? Let's see.
I mean, maybe not systemd, but maybe the Nexus. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's no jitter.
If I do on calendar, I expect to like it to do what I said, not to jitter.
Well, but what does hourly mean?
Here it is.
Okay. Cool. And it crashed. It crashed a few times and gave out.
Yeah. Data with no repo. What does that mean? This is ours?
Probably.
It's misconfigured? Data with no repo. This is our
we
code,
wrote
right?
that text and maybe it made sense when we wrote it, but it does not make sense anymore.
Yeah. Let me close a few things here. And then go to Worktree CR Tracker. Pull this. And open that. Data with Oh, repo. There we go. We have a error. I don't have tooling because I did not wait. Let's wait. Okay. Now I should have tooling. Data. No.
You're gonna have to remind me, Rust. We're calling it what? Dot context on a result? Is that right?
I think so.
Because there's a question mark at the end. What does calling dot context on a result do? It like means when you do a question mark on it, you'll end up with information.
Yeah, this is coming from anyhow. This method is an implementation of the context trait from anyhow for option. So this is not on its own, it's an option, but it might have the same thing. So it converts an option to an anyhow result, I suppose.
Okay.
So this is an option.
It's not a result. It's an
and then
option.
we are producing an anyhow result.
Got it.
In order to be able to try here.
Okay. All right. So we did a GraphQL query and there was a missing field. Is that right?
Yep. Yeah.
Okay.
This thing.
All right. Maybe the API
query
changed.
Repository.
Who knows?
Do you have any more information? We don't.
I don't think we're logging the query. We could probably reconstruct the query though.
But we are logging the rate limit. We are logging this passed. The response data is not an option, so that passed. But nothing further. So we are in the dark about why we don't have this field.
Yep.
We should check our configuration, right? Like what did we query at all? Is our secret even picked up? Like, do we have a token? What about a token?
We should. But worth confirming.
How do, I kind of want to look at the log again. Here, what rate limits? Sum, pools, query rate limit, 5,000, cost 1, remaining. So this seems to be working.
Yep.
And that probably means that the token is accepted. Otherwise,
I believe it.
Yeah.
Maybe it doesn't. Maybe it'll even tell me when the token was last used, because it is my token. But I'm pretty sure that's not our issue. Our issue is like maybe the GitHub GraphQL API changed and now something is nullable. I don't know.
Did we invalid user Ubuntu? What? Oh boy.
Last used within the last week. So the token's been used. It's not very specific about when. It's people are trying to SSH into this bad boy too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Internet's a scary place, Shahar. We gotta put this thing on our own darknet. So I'd say let's try running the query by hand in GitHub's query runner. See if we get a repository in the response. It shouldn't be hard to regenerate the query, right?
Just looking at this.
Yep.
Christ.
Something I always do with my servers is turn off password authentication for SSH. I don't think any of our users have passwords, so probably fine. But total nightmare.
Could also do zip bomb. You know zip bomb?
Nope.
Is there like a zip bomb enable for NixOS? You can zip bomb is like you give them a zip file to download, like something to successfully sign into, and then they discover a zip file, and it's a never ending. It's an always expanding.
That's a thing you can build with a zip file.
Yes.
Jeez.
And maybe it stops
so
some of the bots.
Up people's disk if they're not careful.
Yeah, maybe it stops a whole botnet because it's.
They all start doing it.
Yeah.
That's funny.
So you said
clearly not enough people are doing it because they're still botnets, or it doesn't stop botnets. Oh, were you handing off to me? All right.
Yes.
Yeah. So disgusting. It's like, why do people need to waste humanity's resources? All right. We are looking for the query. Okay. BR tracker, data with no repo. Okay. And this data comes from here, which comes from query right here. West pulls query. That's what we want to see. GitHub GraphQL runner. Explorer, maybe? Oh, me. Query. Come on, editor. You can do it. Sign in with GitHub. Surprised I didn't already have this. Oh, no, that didn't do what I expected. No. What is this? A lot of knobs, but still by GitHub, so I don't even really understand the Rust story here. All right. Pulls query. That didn't take me to where I wanted. Here we go. Okay. Pulls.graphql. Pulls.graphql. All right. Boom, boom, boom. Run it. Expected value to be none. Okay. So that did not get any easier to see. Where are the knobs for this thing? Like, how is this getting invoked?
Variables under the.
Oh, okay, sure. $owner. I don't know how to do this.
Me neither. That's not very helpful.
No, it's not.
Well, you could change the query hard code if you don't know how to.
What do? I would remove these, maybe. And then now we have some red. Owner is going to be NixOS. No, wait. Oh my gosh, I'm not even remembering. Oh, it is NixOS. Okay.
Yeah.
NixOS. Nix packages. Page size 42 after. Trying to run a query. Yeah, that actually worked. And we got a repository. Bummer. All right. Page size. What are we setting page size to? Page size. Override for testing. Sure. Okay. That's a GitHub GraphQL client. So somehow these things can make it into the query, I guess. Oh, there it is. We do it explicitly. Very nice. Okay. And then map. This could be an optional, right? That's presumably what it is for us right now because we haven't successfully done a query.
Mm-hmm.
Is there like a null? Okay, that got colorful. Repository. What's the default page size?
Can we look at our configuration just to see that our don't have a typo in like the owner and the repo?
Good question. Because yeah, if it was like that, we'd get back a null repository. Good thinking. All right. Does capitalization matter? Like if I do next
Unlikely.
OS? Does not seem to matter. Okay. I agree. I like it. PR tracker. NixOS. Nix packages. Obvious there. MCPL cat PR tracker fetcher. What's the config for this bad boy?
Environment, right?
I'll see it.
Huh? Is that a wrapper?
Yep. Okay. NixOS, Nix packages. Well, I was hoping we'd be able to repro that way. Clearly, I was wrong. This is going to show failed after a few tries. Null CTL-U. This what happens every time? Rate limits. Data with no repo. Data with no repo. And it refused to start because it's getting into some back-off territory. Okay.
So we need new behavior. We need, hey, something went wrong. One of the field is not as expected. Okay, show me the entire response.
Yeah, that would be nice. Might give us a clue. Alternatively, logging the actual query. Or both. But yeah, shall we change our Rust code?
Yeah, we have to. Let's do it.
We have to.
Yeah. We have to.
Well, now you're now you're triggering me. We could install TCP dump, and I know it would be encrypted, so we'd have to, have OpenSSL dump a key. But we could see we could snoop on this. We could see the query and the response. But I agree. It would be better to change the Rust code.
It would be better.
Let's do that. I'll rotate to you.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Let me get some water. I'll be right back.
That's not what I meant.
Hello.
Hey. I made a branch called mob slash log response on error.
Cool.
Do you want to? I don't know. It's difficult to test, to make a test for this, because then we have to like mock a response somehow and see that that is logged somehow, which is kind of looks like an integration test. If we have already infrastructure for doing such a test, but I don't think we do. So we could
I think
do this purely theoretically.
Created some sort of trait that something. I don't remember the details. Could you share screen?
Oh, that would help.
You. This is where I miss Python. If this was Python, I would like edit the file on the server, add a print statement, move on with my life.
Yeah. Totally. But the file is in the Nix store.
Yeah. So I would bind mount a Python file on top of it, restart the service. All sorts of hacks.
For the fetcher, yeah, the only test that we have is this. Macro rules assert landings. We have assert PRs.
These are just helpers, right?
Assert, yes, queried cursors. We have a mock PR. We have these implementations for mock PR. Struct test context. But all of this is in the happy path.
This is all just test infrastructure. Can we get to an actual test?
Whoops. Here's the test.
Cool.
Yeah. Context run.
Yeah. Okay, so this context is some sort of pseudo GitHub or something where we can like PR against, creates a PR, merge PR. Okay.
Not sure what this is.
That just triggers the fetcher. I think what would be more interesting is the PR against helper, because that presumably has some side effect.
PR like, against helper.
What? On line 296, context.pr against.
Mm-hmm.
That like creates a PR against main. Presumably stashes some state somewhere. Yeah, self-double request.insert.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I don't think we're like mocking out like a GraphQL response. Like I think we're
no. Mocking out GraphQL response. That can be answered here in the run. Context run. There is here. This gets mutated. This context gets mutated. But I don't think any of that code path is tested. That is it? Create run with the connection. So it is running the run.
GitHub client self. Did you see that?
Here. Where's our code? But it is the GitHub client, so it's a different GitHub client, right?
Yeah. So we have this trait called GitHub client, which our test context implements.
So the code we saw, repo. What is it? No
it's
data.
Probably GitHub client,
data
right?
Response with no data. No repo. This is in impl GitHub client for GitHub GraphQL.
This code is So we don't have infrastructure tests. We might have some impure tests, but those talk to actual GitHub, so that doesn't help us, right? Well, actually, I guess that would work. We have some tests. I think we documented this in contributing.md or hacking.md.
Look, the change can be trivial. Like we could just, you see, the context is we could just serialize the darn response and put it in the context.
Okay, do it.
but like in a slightly different, like in a way that it would, I don't know, we need to also kind of say what went wrong, but also spew it out.
Mhm.
I'm not sure what the format for that would be, because it's just a string. Maybe a line feed would separate these things.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like
the way I'd probably have written this code in Python would be like, if repository is none, log a warning, and then raise an exception. In the logging, I won't. When I log the warning, I can include some debug info.
So data.
Sure.
But we need a scope in which we can't do things in line here. We need like, oh, we have a scope. Does this take? This takes an argument of an expression. It's not a macro. But we can use a format string. I'm sorry, I'm just like remembering Rust. We could do format, right? And paste this here,
Okay.
and then do something like that, and then do this, and then do additional argument with.
Is there like a context callback so we don't have to do the formatting unless we need to?
Context call.
Like with context, or I don't know. Something that just, they're an idiomatic way to be lazy here. Yeah, with context. Love it. Evaluated lazily. Yes.
Good
Gimme,
call.
gimme, gimme.
So this takes a
I think just
FN
a couple of
once that takes nothing.
pipes or something.
Yeah.
Like pipe. Yeah. Cool.
Okay. I will rotate so you can enjoy writing some Rust as well.
Fetch origin or upstream. Can't remember. CO log response to mob start 7. Show cert github.rs with context reposito.
Yeah. I don't think it's
Awesome.
I think it's data that we want to something on like serialized dot, I don't know. How do you get this serialized, right?
Does not implement display. The trait blah in format strings, you may be able to use blah or blah instead. Should I pay attention to this, or is this not what we want to do?
What is this type? What is response data? This is our type?
I don't know.
You have all the tooling in the world to help you figure this out. Like you can do go to type, not go to definition, go to type definition.
Go to, so GT is go to type, which is then trying to take me to here? Is it coming from there?
Yeah, line 39. Right? Is it pulse query? That's what it is? Is it?
Possible?
What did you? That's not what it was. Does it produce the?
Pulse
Yeah,
query
it
is right here.
produces. Yeah, do you remember like that? It produces the type.
Yeah, like it parses the GraphQL query and yeah. Crazy stuff. Totally crazy stuff.
Okay, so we need to figure out within that framework what methods provided on, because we, that advice is not relevant to us because we're not going to derive anything on it, that type.
What about this advice?
Yeah, try the debug.
Which one?
The pretty print.
This one?
Pretty print debug. Yeah, maybe that.
Colon, hashtag, question mark. Boy.
Wow.
Borrow
Good.
occurs. So what? Ampersand or something?
Yeah, we want no, so it's already partially moved because probably the accessing dot repository was like moving the field out of repository. Okay, yeah, you're ahead. You're ahead.
And then I need to do it again?
Well, I think, well, now what happened is that now repository is a reference. Pools query repository is now a reference. And therefore, later on, response PRs, you cannot, yeah, you can borrow. We might get into trouble for doing this though.
Oh dear.
We might just clone instead of starting to deal with references.
Here? Do it here? Or is it too late to do it here?
I think that might be too late.
Got it.
But there is no clone for that, it seems. Oh. Yeah. Clone. You get the same error. Right? There's no clone for that. So I think, so what is the correct solution here? I think debug. You want to get the repository. I think one thing we can do is take. See, that repository field is an option, right?
Okay.
So assuming there might be something in it, right? In that option. Mm-hmm. And we like want to like try to take it out. That's what we don't have to take the entire field, but we can take the value out of the field instead. Does that make sense? Out of the option.
Okay.
So if we, if you take a value out of the option, then the field is intact. It just reverts from like some to none.
Oh. But response, wouldn't that require something to be mutable that isn't currently mutable?
Maybe, but it's owned, so could be mutable.
But then if we had something further down that we wanted to do this logging again with, we'd be logging like a lie?
Yeah.
That smells off to me.
Right. Okay, so if we don't want to do that, we could find a way to serialize this ahead of time. That sounds suboptimal, right? Like, it's possible.
We have it, right? Like we got the response.
We have the response.
We don't need to re-serialize it like in the most...
Or to
academically
clone
speaking, we pulled the bytes off of the wire. I guess I actually don't know if GraphQL is a binary protocol or human readable, so maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. But I guess I was assuming GraphQL is a human readable protocol and that the response is there already formatted. Something parsed it and maybe threw away the original, stream of text. Next.
Yeah, let me see what I can, wrestle with the borrow checker, see what we can do here. See, this is where like Rust is like nothing. It's like nothing else, right? Because you can wrestle with something that checks you instead of trying to do it all in your head and hoping that you got it right.
Well, yeah, it's also like wrestling against something that you don't have problems with in other languages. Like, I mean, there's no mutating going on here, and that's what's like so weird to me. Is like data is just this thing that we aren't writing to. So why is it like so painful for multiple things to read from it? I guess the reason is because like Rust needs to know when it can free things.
You're not sure you understand exactly the...
Like I've done a lot of coding, right? And like I get it, like shared references to things are painful when you've got things writing to it and things reading from it. But this is like an immutable thing. Nothing's changing it.
Well, this is changing. This is destroying this value data because it's taking, it's moving this field out of it, the field repository. It's moving it out.
Yeah.
And then
so
later
my brain
on,
reads that as like a reference to something, like, which clearly is like not the right mental model to have, is what I guess you're saying.
Yeah, that's correct. It's not the right because dot notation here without this ampersand, this dot notation is okay. Destroy this, take it apart, right? Because we want one field, and now this is invalid because it has one field missing. So we never access this again. And this is so now we have an option. We have that field. We have an option of now we want to wrap it. I think it's kind of wrapping it, right? Converting from an option to a result. And here we are referencing this again. But this is invalid now because you torn out a field. So we could try using references. We could try, maybe we could clone this. But the method clone exists on an option, but not on the type inside the option. Pulls query repository. It's not clonable, and that type is not ours, right? Like it's something that generated by. Why isn't it clonable? That's like a question you could ask, right? Like, I mean, it's just data, isn't it?
Right. Seems like it could be.
Seems like it could be. So let's go to I think it's, oh, sorry. How do I do this? Go to declaration, type definition of is it not in a crate? I think it's this, right? Same thing you reached. And we are deriving, and this is a query, right? And this is where This GraphQL takes arguments. So this is where this type is generated. It's not the struct that we declared, but it's like something that this expands to.
Yes.
So we could see whether, GraphQL, Rust, what's it called? What's it actually called?
It's request
GraphQL
with a W, right?
Query derived. What? Rust? What? Yeah, I think we actually found it, right? This thing. I'm not sure that's where the documentation would be, though. Maybe this repo. And then search for clone. I don't know, right? Like the documentation for this. Maybe instead we can, sorry for like backtracking on that, but like I think we can maybe do like something like, there's no JSON, right? So maybe we can do, how do we, not an actual clone, but like a toString, right?
Which would kind of effectively clone it.
Yeah, so
like, not in the same form.
So what about let data debug equals debug. No, not debug. Like we need a format, right? Format the debug pretty and data. Okay, and now we use that instead. Data debug.
Fingers crossed. Okay. That work?
Yep.
Cool. All right. Yeah.
But it makes you realize, hey, we might not need this, right? Like we're doing this, but we might not need this. So it's like extraneous work. So that's Rust. And now you did it like the simple thing. And now if you're not satisfied, you want more not do extra work, you could try working with references instead, right? And leaving that thing intact.
Yeah. Okay, I see. Well, you're the Rust guy. What do you want to do at this point?
That depends on whether this is a hot path. I think it's a little bit embarrassing to do this. Like it's like an embarrassing code.
It's definitely not a hot path, but I agree. It does feel silly.
Right. So let's try like slowly.
So the solution is to do references. Is that?
Yeah.
Am I understanding? Okay.
Maybe. Sometimes it's just not feasible,
I don't know.
Let's try. Let's see what happens.
Here. I am a Python guy.
Yeah.
So,
I would say the alternative is to do references, definitely. So what happens when you do this ampersand?
Leave that there for now. Just, okay, to not get distracted more than we have to. Okay, response PRs. Consider borrowing here.
Well, before you look at the error, ask yourself what happens and what types are now different.
So this is now a reference.
Yep.
And I guess it's a shared reference because I don't know why it's a shared reference.
What's a shared reference?
We cannot move out of blah, which is behind a shared reference.
Okay. I don't know.
I don't see the shared part.
There is no, I don't know what the distinction is. Shared
Okay.
reference. It's just a reference.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and yeah, I mean, I get it, right? Like we're trying not to move, so makes sense.
Yep.
You know, the virality of this
Yes.
is intuitive to me.
Okay.
We go down to here. Because again, I guess there's a move here. Do we want this to be a reference to a vec of these things or something?
Mm-hmm. But that unwrap or default. Yeah, I guess you'd get a reference to a vec of option. That doesn't work, is it?
The type changed, but not in business with
Yeah.
regards to
Because unwrap is consuming. Unwrap or default is a consuming method. It takes self by ownership. So we
Okay.
cannot do that particular method if all we have is a reference.
Okay. Is there a reference preserving version of this? Is that a nonsensical thing to ask for? Reasons I don't appreciate.
Well, what would we want? I think what we would want is to borrow, is to like, there's an option. Look, we have a reference to an option, right? That field nodes is it's a reference to a vec of options. Okay. No, is it? No, I'm sorry. It's a reference to an option of a vec of option.
Doesn't look like a reference here, but I guess I'm probably not
It's
using
on
my
a
tooling
reference,
correctly.
right? Like response PRs is a
Yes.
reference.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a field inside a reference. So I think we can take a reference to an option. It's not done syntactically though. It's done via a method.
Okay.
So we won't be doing it with the ampersand. Maybe there's a method we could call on nodes before we call unwrap or default that gets us an option, right? So it's a new value, an option, but the contents of the option is now a reference to the original thing instead of the
I
original
just
thing.
want to see this on its own. So we want items to ultimately be a ref of this. Is that right?
No, because it's an option. So we need an option of a reference.
Okay. Got it.
So we will get a new option, but it will be an option of a reference because we cannot take but even if we do obtain an option of a reference of a vec, the thing that we cannot take anything out of it. So we need to like figure out. Yeah, we eventually we need. Yeah, what do we do?
That's what we're trying to get our hands on, right? Or crash. We want this, or we want to crash.
A reference to that.
Yes. Sorry. We want a reference to that, or we want to crash. Yep.
Yeah. So we need to call some method on an option that gives us an option to a reference.
Okay.
So what is it? Something like maybe borrow or something like get ref or take ref or certainly not take. Take is the one that certainly not take. No, take a look at the
Converts from ref option.
Yep, that sounds
similar
like
to
it.
what we're talking about.
Yeah, let's try this. Good. Now you have an option of a ref.
Okay.
Of a
what I'm confused about is this said it converts from a ref option to an option ref. But if what I remember is when this wasn't here before we did this wasn't a ref option.
It wasn't, but it's a field of a type that we have via a reference.
Right. So I'm confused about types. Like, oh my gosh.
It's equivalent.
This right here does not look like a ref option. It looks like an option.
But you can't do that.
Oh, okay. Can't do it. But I can do this. Now I understand. Like this line will now be valid, but the next line will be invalid.
Correct.
Okay. All right. So now, all right. And so there was like some sort of implicit ampersand or something like I could have done as ref. That also works, but it's just like for some reason the ampersand wasn't necessary. Okay. And what? Can you give me some intuition for why the ampersand wasn't necessary? There's like, is there some coercion?
Because when you have a reference to a struct and you use dot notation on that, no, sorry. When you have a reference to a struct and so you have all access, when you try to access all you can, and you call a method on one of its fields, the method, this method takes by ref. Doesn't, no, it's, what does it do? What does it take by? It must take by ref, yeah. Takes by reference. Takes self by reference, right?
Okay. So is that the coercion there? It's like saying, okay, you gave me self, but I'm really going to take a reference to it. And so the ampersand's unnecessary because like Rust will just say, oh, okay, sure, yeah. I got this thing, I'll pass it as a reference and everything's hunky-dory.
Yeah.
Okay.
Makes sense to you then?
Would Clippy complain about this?
No.
Okay.
No, this is totally fine.
Okay. All right. But seems to not be necessary, so we won't do it. Okie dokie. And now we have that option of ref to vec and trait bound blah ref vec is not satisfied.
We still cannot unwrap.
It's the default part? Like, it sure seems to me like we've got an option. I should be able to say, give me the value inside of it or crash. The default thing where it's like trying to construct one of these and that doesn't make any sense.
Trait bound ref vec option pulls.
Yeah, it's okay. It's the default. It's basically saying I don't know how to build one of these.
Yeah.
Like I know how to build a vec, but I don't know how to build a ref to a vec.
You cannot build a ref to a vec because it needs to be a reference to something, right?
All right. But we could do like unwrap and then like just build an empty vec and return a reference to it or something. Like there's got to be some. This doesn't seem like an impossible thing to me.
Why are we doing unwrap or default here? Here's a question.
Well, I guess this thing cannot exist. I don't know what these nodes are. PRs. Like
if you undo all the changes we made so far.
Okay.
Just restore or whatever. It should compile, right? If you save. Okay. Why are we doing unwrap or default?
This is not how I would answer that question. Like this code, I don't think has the answer. The way I would try to answer that question is I'd play around in the GraphQL Query Explorer, see if there are queries that just result.
Default is an empty vec. Default of a vec is an empty vec.
Yeah.
So this unwrap or default is serving us fine here, because where is nodes used? Where does that go? Equals nodes into iter. See, so I think we can do something different than unwrap or default here. We can like, what if there are no nodes? But I would do that first before doing this change. That's why I think we should undo all the changes, and then
like you want to merge a separate commit. Is that what you're saying, or
whether it's a commit or not? I would just do that first. See, what are we doing if we're not doing unwrap or default?
Okay.
Because that's irrespective of whether this is a borrowed or owned. I think this is we could like short circuit it, right? Because what are nodes at all?
They're option pulls request repository pull requests nodes. Ugh.
So if we don't, if the we're basically saying that option for us, it's equivalent to having no
PRs.
No PRs. It would be similar to an empty vec. Then we end up with an empty vec, right? And if there are no PRs, what happens here? What gets returned?
This is going to be an empty vec probably. I'm not positive about that, but I'm pretty sure. And then we end up with a new cursor possibly.
I think in that case the cursor would be the same, right? Because we didn't move.
I mean, just depends on what the GitHub backend does, right?
Okay, so now I'm not very inclined to change this unwrap or default. I think what you said earlier is worth exploring, whether we can do something more explicit than unwrap or default. That's a shortcut we cannot use anymore.
Okay. So yeah, like I mean we could write this as like a
there is unwrap or, I believe.
Okay. Unwrap or love it. And this takes like a callback or something?
Unwrap or is with a value, and unwrap or else is with a callback, right?
Got it. Okay, sure. And we can do like F to a new vec. I don't know how to write
not a
Rust
ref
code anymore.
Not a ref. You can't just make a reference to something that does not exist. You gotta instantiate a new vec. It has to be an owned vec.
I'm making a reference.
Not a reference.
To an instantiated vec.
No. Where's the vec owned in that case?
On the heap. Or sorry, on the stack.
No, it'll be dropped. It's not owned anywhere. Like it's owned in this where you created it, and then it's gone. And then you're returning a reference that is dangling.
Okay.
So this you must return a vec, not a reference to a vec here. We're changing the type. The stack will have a vec.
But items is the reference.
So I think so instead of the so we need them to like do like a kind of a double operation. We need to
just
clone...
to test my Rust knowledge a little bit, like empty vec. This would do what I want. Like I'm not saying this is the right way to do it.
It's colon colon.
You. Friends, I just don't remember anything. That. Oops. I mean, you see what I'm trying to do. Is this like?
But I see what you're trying to do, but we don't want. We want to, on the stack, have an owned vec. End up with an owned vec.
Okay, so that seems weird to me because like what we've been trying to do is just have references to the stuff inside of data.
Yes, the vec will be owned, but inside it will be references.
Like we're gonna map over everything and put a bunch of references to the.
I think so. I think we have to do that.
Okay, why do we have to do that though? Like, can't we do something like what I'm doing here? Like, I mean, I get that this is like a potentially unnecessary vec instantiation, but
we have an option to a ref of vec, right?
Option
in 101.
101. Yes.
We have a option to a ref of vec, and we want, and that's for us. That's equivalent to an owned vec that may be empty, or it may have references to whatever. Right? It's a bit like moving the reference where the reference is.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think I understand what you're saying, which is you're saying like, okay, we have a reference to a vec. If we want an owned vec, we can just like literally map over this thing and make an owned vec that contains a bunch of references to these things.
Right.
And so that approach involves allocating a vector of length n, which seems silly to me, when we could allocate a vector of length 0 instead.
But that takes care only of the empty case. What about the case where it's not empty? It has what you need.
Yeah. So we got it, right? Like we unwrapped, or we got the non-empty case. And let's move on to the next line of code.
Unwrap or empty vec. Sorry, hold on. My screen locked. You want to say a reference to an empty vec. I see. Okay.
I mean, I'd love to, learn some way of only allocating the empty vec if necessary, but like this still seems better to me than like duplicating, creating a vec containing a bunch of pointers where this could potentially have,
Yeah, you may be right. You may be right.
And my brain is still telling me it seems like it should be possible to like only conditionally allocate this, but I don't know enough about Rust or really even just like low-level systems programming. But
And it's also possible that there is a completely better way of doing what we're trying to do here as well,
Okay.
which I don't remember or never
But I'm
knew
just
of.
saying, allocating an empty vec seems like a lesser evil than like mapping over some other vec to create a copy of it, or like a sort of a copy with a bunch of
It seems
references
so.
to its items.
It seems so. I agree.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know if we're like still backing ourselves into a corner here. Like,
Right.
So
We still don't know that.
I guess we just have to trudge on and.
Yeah. So let's leave that in place and look at the next.
All right.
So
Great.
that into iter is already like wrong, because you have a reference to a vec. There's no point on calling into iter. I think we shall call iter instead.
Oh boy. Interesting. I don't understand, but
I'm not saying this fixes anything, but into iter is where you can consume the collection, and then you iterate on owned values.
Okay.
Iter borrows the collection and iterates on references.
Iterates on references. These
Yeah,
don't look
the
like
value.
references to me.
But on the next line, you will see that they are.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Okay. And then here we've got a node. Okay, sure. So let's just let's not take the node. Let's just have a reference to the node.
Take the. Can you? Sorry. What was the error? We have a ref option, so I think we need to.
We want this to become an option ref.
we
okay,
want to do as ref. Yeah.
Yep. Like we did before. Makes sense. Okay. And now we've got a ref thing. Okay. And now we've got okay. Node.merge commit moved to this method call. Okay. Cannot move out of node.merge commit, which is behind a shared reference. Cannot move out of block. Consider calling as ref or as mute. Borrow the types. Yeah.
What is the type of merge commit though?
It's an option of.
Yeah. Okay.
Query. Okay, I need to see this as a separate thing. I understanding this. So this is a move. I should be allowed to just do that, right?
Well, but because it's an option, we don't want to do that. We want to do as ref.
Yeah. We want to do as ref. Okay. Sure. And then we'll end up with an option of a ref. Great. Cool. All right. Re-inline that. Okay. Now, this is where we're going to have to clone something, right? Like,
that's just a string.
Going to hold on to the. We're not going to give ourselves a pointer to a string deep in this data thing. We're ready to just get our hands on our own copy of it. Right? Okay, cool. We got through all the blood. Let's see if we can mop this up. Cannot move out of blah, which is behind a. So cannot move what out?
It's the following line.
move occurs. It's this
I
thing,
mean,
the page
yeah.
info?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yes. Okay. Got it. All right. So response peers. Yeah. So I mean, we
But
just
it's a
want
right
this needs
120.
to ultimately be an option of ref to GitHub PR query cursor. Oh no, we're gonna return this thing. So we really do need this thing. Oh, we're constructing. Okay, this is an option of string. Okay,
Yeah, I see.
so we do want this thing cloned, but I don't know where to put the clone. Can I clone the option, or do I need to like map into it and clone?
I think there is a cloned method on option. Cloned, right?
Doesn't seem to be
No,
popping up.
that's method on iterator on iter of option. So I think we can do just can you just clone the option
Maybe.
instead of because it's an
Okay,
option of string, so there's no problem with cloning an
love
option
it,
of string.
love it. So okay,
Mm-hmm.
great. That all made a lot of sense to me. Like
I'm glad.
thinking in terms of how I would write like the corresponding C code. So cool. That was a useful exercise. All right. They really want me to put data DBG here. Is that what that is?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Love it. Okay. And then there's no value in being lazy here. Okay, but this is an opportunity to maybe talk about. Can I stick this in the heap or something? Like, is there some way
Wait,
to avoid
hold
the
on. But the whole point is that we don't need to create data DBG ahead of time.
data DBG? Data DBG. Oh, sorry. Yeah, right. Okay, so you're saying deal with this and then circle back to the.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay, sure. Great. So now this should be able to go.
Yes,
Just
definitely.
data, right?
I
Or a ref to data or something. Okay,
reference. Yeah, reference.
that should work. Okay. Can I even do that here?
No, because that's an expression.
This is what I get for listening to Clippy before we were ready. Before we accomplished our goals. Okay. Does this work without the, like if I just do, is this related to the fact that there's a
Well, then it's not
func there?
lazy.
Yeah. No, I was just curious, like to understand.
But
No.
but I thought we didn't partially move data. Like, what's going on here? Context. No. What? So where is now data? Where is it telling us that data is partially moved? Because
Partial move
data.repository has to.
occurs because data.repository has type blah, which I can't see this here. Cargo build. No. Oh no. Why does my editor not need to do all this?
Cargo check.
Oh. Look at that. Wow. Okay. Data.repository has type blah. Does not implement the copy tree.
Where are we trying to copy it though? Partially moved here. Partially moved here.
Having trouble following the
Yeah.
ASCII art. What is this trying to say?
That's the end of that method repository field access. So that ampersand that we added, I think it's like maybe
Sorry, can you
parentheses.
explain the ASCII art to me? Like, what is this like?
It refers to what's above it.
Where is here?
Here is like
is
the hyphen.
This thing?
This right before the word value.
Here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then what's this line looking ASCII thing?
It refers to what's above it, to the field access repository. Is it?
Value partially moved here.
Oh, it's a scope. It's a span. Sorry, the word is a span. The span is from that D to the Y.
Oh. Oh. Okay. All right. So from here to here, like including all of that, we're saying that's where the value is partially moved.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right.
And I think that's because our ampersand did not do what we intended it to do because of, precedence rules.
So parentheses.
Right. Parentheses. Yes. Let's see whether this works. I hope it does.
Hey,
Well,
that gave us a much clearer formatting.
Wait. The ampersand needs to be within the parentheses. This doesn't change anything, right?
I don't
The
know.
parentheses didn't change it. To borrow the thing. What does it say now?
Move occurs because value has type whatever. It's the same type we've been seeing the whole time, which does not implement the copy. Somebody's trying to copy anything, man?
Yeah, but it's different because now the move occurs at the context call, right? What does context take?
Okay.
Context is called on an option and takes
Self.
owned, right?
Okay.
So we cannot use context here this way.
How do we get away with it here?
Consumes because we called it as ref.
This different? This is a
That's
ref to an option. And what is this thing?
That's an option. It's well, we borrowed it, so we need to call as ref before the.
Oh, okay. So just like before, we call it .s. Okay.
And I think we don't need the ampersand if we do that.
Yes, that has been our experience thus far. Okay, I think it compiles. Neato. Okay, and now, shall we talk about if this allocation is necessary? Like, sometimes it's necessary, but is it unconditionally necessary? Like, do we have to do it even when we actually have a vec in the data? Because I wanted to allocate it in here, and you're saying, but Jeremy, it's got to like have some lifetime or something. And
Yeah.
This is the way that I give it a lifetime, is by like bubbling it up.
Yeah. So what you did is valid. And if you want to have a reference to a vec, then that reference needs to be valid, and therefore the vec needs to be valid, and therefore allocated.
Yeah. And I would imagine an empty vec is probably an incredibly cheap thing.
Well, I think there are pre-allocations.
Like it might
Try
have some...
vec. There's instead of new. Wait. Can we look at the new method, the docs for the new? The vector will not allocate.
Yeah, okay, so it's probably super cheap.
There.
Like when you
Good.
push your first element on, it gets probably a bunch of space. Not a bunch, but probably
Yeah.
more than just the one item. Okay, so just live with it.
It's still ugly. Like that it's a reference to an empty vec that is created ahead of time in an upper scope just for the ownership. It's
Right.
like
it's like
not pretty.
it's bothering me. Not like I understand that the performance is not an issue.
Mm-hmm.
And it certainly feels better to me than like mapping over a different vec.
I think we can do a static
like bake it
instead.
into the
I don't.
binary.
Yeah,
and reference that.
but that would still be in some scope, which is if it can be in that closure scope, then it kind of makes sense that it's prettier, right? Because it's kind of
right. Yeah, it looks like it's only happening where it needs to happen.
But
so you can do that. You can allocate a static thing inside of here.
I think so.
How?
Because I don't. Is it because items can be inside of? Yeah, this is the body of a try it.
Tell me what to do. I don't know how to allocate static stuff.
First give us a body with curlies.
Curlies.
Yeah.
Okay, editor's not gonna let me do that. Okay, here we go.
Yeah. And then do like static keyword. Static, yeah, static that, and then do what it says. You need the type. Const may be more appropriate, actually. This whole thing is kind of silly, but yeah, you need the type, like vec of unit, because it's never going to have, actually not unit. Maybe it can be inferred. I don't know. It's not unit because it has to be the same type as
underscore.
Yeah, that's for inference. We might not be able to do that.
Let's
but
just...
yeah, I don't think that's in scope though. Nice. Right. It's return a static reference, a reference with a static lifetime.
I don't know how to do this.
It seemed I don't think it's instantiated any differently. I think it's a type. It's like a type problem. It's still an ampersand. It's still just an ampersand.
Okay.
But then that needs to. That's what it. The returns reference data owned by the current function. You need to.
So sorry, I'm confused.
Define.
What about this is like allocated outside
regardless of where this is syntactically?
Like
it's
this doesn't. This feels to me like something on the stack.
No. It's a const. Const is forever. It's baked into the executable.
Const is baked into the executable. Okay.
This is a diamond. Yeah.
Diamond.
The diamonds are forever.
Okay. All right. Okay. So what's the difference between const and static?
Const is simpler. It's like whatever value. This is a constant. Static, however, I don't. Statics can be.
Pardon me.
I don't know. Ask an LLM. I don't remember right now.
Okay. Well, sorry, we're getting close, and I'm getting tired. So I would like to commit something. We don't have to merge it to main, but I'd like to then hop over to our other thing and point out our branch and
Sure.
just see if we learn anything. So,
Sure.
For the quick and dirty thing, let's just undo. And I can leave a comment about like to do static or const
or something else entirely. Yeah, because this doesn't seem quite right.
Okay, great. So we'll leave that there. I'll do a mob next. And now we've got a branch that we can just update our flake to use, right? Oh, wait, this is not going to build yet. Only need that. No, unwrap or is that right?
Yeah.
Mob next. Ergo check just for good measure. And then I've got the branch name. I'm hopping over to our info repo, flake dot nix, PR tracker, and we're gonna do this, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we're gonna have to do a build, so I'm gonna rotate over to you because it'll go faster on your machine.
Sure.
Mob next. Get stash. Get reset. Head. Boom. Oh god. Really? Okay. Get check. What the heck? I just reset to my local. Okay, sorry. Get reset dash dash hard. What? Origin. Then mob next. Oh my gosh, I do not understand. Get or the mob CLI. Get check out dot. I just want.
You have something stashed, and that's what you're interested in.
I have nothing stashed. I just
try fetching.
Get fetch origin.
Now reset hard.
Okay, get reset dash dash hard origin.
Now pop your stash.
Getting flake.lock.
Now you should be able to mob next.
Okay, thank you. Thought I tried doing that. Okay, take it away, sir.
Yeah, that's not the. I don't know why this is still here. What do I do?
Clan machines update. Molly?
Machines Molly update?
I don't think so. I think it's clan machines update Molly. Sweet. Okay. I don't know how to teach this thing about your SSH key. I guess one way of doing this would be to add tweak your SSH config file to specify the identity for this host.
I have a thing for that.
Okay. What is your thing?
I think careful here, but I think you see hosts. Each host, there's an identifier. Basically this.
Yeah, this is an SSH config file. These are all included via some asterisk in your SSH config or something.
That's it.
That's great.
So let me do hosts. No, that and next packages. So then that stuff. And just oh,
I didn't see it, but I guess mark it.
Really? Really? That can happen? I wouldn't have imagined that.
That your editor would show previews of files?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think mine does. Update line 1 as well.
Wow.
This isn't going to work because we're SSHing to the IP address, but you can go ahead and change our code to actually SSH to the domain name. Oh, you're sorry. We have a target host declared somewhere, and we need to change that to. Oh, never mind. I'm an idiot. Okay. All good. All good.
I do not agree with that statement.
Not all good.
I think you're smart.
Thank you, Shah. I appreciate it. All right, client machines update. Hopefully you'll be able to SSH now. It's funny. It says secrets already uploaded when you failed to SSH. You know? Ooh.
The heck is all this?
Lacks a signature by a trusted key.
Huh? What are you talking about? What is it? What? Since when do we require signatures by anything? This is the store. What are you talking about?
I don't know what happened here. I've seen that error before, and the scenarios in which I've seen that error is when I am doing like a Nix copy using a user that is not a so-called like trusted user. Like that's like a Nix configuration option. It's like trusted users.
Uh-huh.
So I think it's basically about which users are allowed to copy files into the store or trigger copies into the store or something. But for the root user, I would have guessed that would be fine.
They have a new version.
Of what?
I just went into their room matrix.
Clan.
Yeah,
Oh.
maybe
Well,
this
I
is like
suspect this is not a clan thing. Like, I think if you tried
no.
to just do Nix copy or Nixos switch, you'd see the same issue.
Well, like, sure, not a clan thing, but the clan is we didn't, we were following clan instructions to use their stuff, right?
Mhm.
It's not like we missed. Did we miss something about any further permissions? Can you do it?
Be interesting to find out. Start.
Be right back.
Clan machines update. Molly. Okay, SSHing there for the first time. Foo. Okay, copying. Hey, same thing. So no, I cannot do. Rust overlay. Is that the same one? Build. I'm a little surprised that we started copying stuff before I finished building. What are we actually running here? Okay, this is trying to build the flake on the remote machine. What if I try to do -- build host local jfly at local host? Is that trying to copy? Why would it be trying to copy the flake to this server? I said build host here. Does say falling back to blah. Oh, I tried to specify build host. Maybe that's broken.
What's up? Did you have the same problem or?
Same problem. Now, what's interesting is the thing that's failing to copy, the thing we're trying to copy is the flake itself to the machine, which means, and I remember this now, Clan defaults to doing the builds on the target machines. I don't like that because I have a beefier laptop than all my cheap little servers, so I like to do the builds on my laptop.
Mm-hmm.
When I'm working with you, I like to do the builds on your desktop. So I tried, like, I still don't understand why that's not working, but I then tried saying overriding the build host in the CLI, and that failed in the exact same way. But I did notice this warning that's like either a sign of a bug or this warning's a lie. It says inventory.machines.molly.deploy.buildhost is not set, falling back to clan core networking build host, which to me maybe means like this isn't taking precedence like it should, which feels like a bug in their CLI potentially. So I was gonna just do a hack because I'm just curious, like if I also add a build host, this is not gonna work for you. But if I do like jfly at localhost,
do just localhost.
let's see. Now we still get the warning, but like now it's actually the build host I want it to be, which is my now I can't SSH.
It's trying
It's
root.
defaulting to root, which I don't have set up. I can't SSH as root to my laptop. I suspect this will maybe work. Like it's going to copy the flake to the same machine. Or not. What's this?
What is
XOS
this?
rebuild switch.
Just disable whatever. Like, I'm not buying what you're saying about. Okay. Because there's a whole list of store paths, and then one fails. What's the difference?
I know. It's like I've got all these. These are probably all the flake inputs, right? Like recursively. And
Maybe.
why can one of them not get copied? I don't know.
Access signature by a trusted key. And that makes me think. So who's is this client side? Like, do you think this the server tells you that it lacks a signature by trusted key, or is it the local Nix saying that?
So we could probably debug this by running Nix Flake archive, like this command directly. Not sure what the -JSON's about. But yeah, I'm chugging away here at building. Just gonna make my computer somewhat unusable.
I can try. I'll take
Oh,
this
cool.
thing.
And then here's my freaking another thing I find very frustrating about Clan is when I control C the CLI. Normally when you control C a Nix build, the build dies. But what I control C'd is a thing that SSH'd to my laptop to trigger a build. And that doesn't cause the build to die. Then my laptop just becomes death.
There.
I gotta somehow figure out how to kill these builds. Do you have any tricks for killing runaway Nix builds?
I opened bottom and killed the.
Start killing.
Nix Flake Archive 2. I'm not sure. Copy a flake and all its inputs to a store.
Okay, I think my laptop's usable again.
Try run JSON. No check SIGs.
Sure sounds like it's client side, doesn't it? It might be easier to read if you remove the -JSON. Hey, it
seems like it succeeded.
Okay, so that fits your theory that it's like a client side thingy?
Yeah. But it's only one part of the
Is
process.
it like everything else we depend on is somehow signed by Hydra?
No. No? What do you mean everything else? How many of the derivations in a NixOS are specific to that machine? Many. Even one would suffice to fail a signature check.
Right.
I'm saying NixFlake Archive has a signature check mechanism that I don't know what signatures. What are the trusted signers by default? Is it Hydra? And B, why is it on by default? NixFlake Archive. It's on by default. And
Without
C,
understanding what it is, I don't feel prepared to tackle the why is it on by default question.
why don't clan people know that this is a problem? Do they have what's the public tracker for is it here? Do they have a public tracker or?
Yeah, it's on the skit instance. I mean, I've been using Clan for a while and I haven't run into this, so it's like, why? I don't know. Oh, I guess the answer is because I do my builds on the same machine, on my development machine, so those paths are already in my store somehow.
Oh, clan.
I should probably call it a night. Do we want to tear down the machine to not leave it running for a week? Or, I mean, it's not like it costs a lot of money, but it's also easy to recreate. The only thing is we'll have to update DNS when we provision a new machine.
No, just leave it.
Okay, great. All right. Well, this is good progress.
It is.
We'll get it working next week.
Also, Jeremy, what's the difference between our successful deployment and this deployment? Is like the first one is different. It does not use NixFlake Archive.
Good question. Yeah, like why is there even why wasn't that already? Yeah, maybe that first deployment did do the build locally.
I'm going to harass them on their room about this.
Yeah, definitely some room for improvement. Yeah, maybe when you do the initial build, it does the build locally. I don't even remember when did PR Tracker get compiled? Do you remember? It would have taken a moment when we provisioned the machine.
I don't have a clear memory of
It's
an
got
understanding of what
to
happened there.
be getting copied from local because like I reran it several times today. Right? Like I started the session and like so
It
that
didn't
stuff
take
was
that
getting
long.
copied from my local
Yeah.
store.
Mm-hmm.
Rust wasn't compiling things. So yeah, maybe there's like this weird asymmetry, and that would be the answer, right? Is like this was the first time we tried to copy the Flake inputs over. So maybe that's the answer to your latest question, which is why didn't we run into it before? But that's just another question, which is like, why does Clan have this asymmetry? Why does it do the first build locally, but all subsequent builds are configurable? Like, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the reason Clan defaults to building on the target machine is because those target machines might be on a different architecture. And so that's like a remote builder that's guaranteed to be able to build for the architecture and build natively. Like if a macOS user was trying to deploy to like a Linux machine, or even like a Linux machine with a different architecture.
You also might be giving them too much credit that they thought of this, or that
they built this whole like target infrastructure for a reason. So, it's like, I imagine they were trying to pick the thing that's most likely to just work for people, which is assume the remote machine is beefy enough to build itself, and then you don't have to worry about people configuring remote builders or bin FMT emulation, anything like that.
But that's true only for the first deployment.
Well, right, yeah, so that's a good point, because it does seem like the first deployment requires you to build it locally. So I don't know what's going on there. Don't know.
All right, Jeremy. Thank you. Good work.
You do. Bye, everyone.
Thank you for this watching our podcast. So podcasts are video these days. Well. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hope we have entertained you. Till next time, be well.